So there are two different types of MAC addresses which you need to be aware of. The first one is actually called the Universally Administered MAC address, otherwise known as UAA. Now, that sounds all big and scary, but what you need to know is the following: that most MAC addresses you have are universally administered MAC addresses. And what that means is that these are the MAC addresses which a device receives when it's in a factory and it's being made. So let's imagine you've got your iPhone and it's being made. That does not look like an iPhone, but who cares? It's one screen. Oh my days, whatever. Imagine this was an iPhone. And they make it in this factory and they give it a network interface card. On that network interface card, they will also make the MAC address with the serial number and the manufacturer number. And it's very rare that you would like to change it, as in the MAC address. The second type of MAC address is called the locally administered MAC address, so otherwise known as LAA. Local, or locally and universally. Big difference. This will allow a company or a person to change their MAC address if they're forced to. So you can actually customize it. So you've got your MAC address, where you've got the manufacturer, serial, manufacturer. You can actually change these numbers around, which remember are hexadecimal, and I'm going to do a hashtag for hex. But why would you want to do that? Why would anyone go to the length of changing their MAC address? So let's look at it from a business. Businesses often have what's called a mainframe computer, which is like a huge supercomputer. We're going to call it mainframe. Now, on these mainframe computers, you have special software. And the only way this special software can work is basically for your computer to have a certain MAC address. Otherwise it won't work on your computer. So you've got all these computers in a business connected to a mainframe. The mainframe's got software on it. I'm going to draw a square for software. This dude here wants to get the software, like, let's imagine it's Photoshop, and Photoshop comes onto his computer. This computer also wants Photoshop, but because its MAC address is not the right format, not laid out in the right way, it will not go into the server, to the mainframe. This means that he cannot get Photoshop onto his computer unless he changes his MAC address. Yo, I want to change. So when he does change, and we customize it, it'll let him into the server, etc. So the first reason is so that software on mainframes can work on certain computers if they need a certain MAC address format. The second reason is that on every network in a business, so this is a business in an office, let's draw a roof, they have what's called a firewall. It's like a bouncer, and you will not let the internet, let's draw England, Europe, Australia, yeah, really bad map. You will not let the internet in unless a firewall is happy. Now, it also stops people, a firewall, from going out onto the internet. It will say access denied. Let's have a look. There you go. That is a firewall in action. I tried to get on Facebook. It will not let me. So that's me here trying to go on Facebook. Now, the firewall will block anyone from trying to get onto the internet unless you have a certain MAC address format. So what companies will have to do sometimes is change their MAC address to allow companies, people in the company, to go onto the internet past a firewall. So I'm going to put here firewall. It's the same with router as well. / router. It stops, so it blocks unless formatted. Now the third reason why somebody might want to customize their own MAC address or business. Why would they want to change the MAC address of the devices? We've looked at 2 so far. Let's look at the final reason once I've just rubbed out all of this. There you go. All gone. It's good as new. Okay. So, let's imagine that I'm going to draw right now a computer network. In this computer network, you have a machine for apps. You have a machine for work. You have a machine for email. You have a machine. These are mainframes. These are supercomputers. All of these. So you have a supercomputer for internet. Then you've got little old person who works. He's brand new to the company. He's brought his own laptop into work and he tries to access any of these. It will not let him. It will not let him access it because of what's called network restrictions, which is similar to firewall. These supercomputers, these mainframes, only accept MAC addresses which are done in a certain way. This will force this guy to have his laptop MAC address changed so it's the same as everybody else's in the company, so that he can get past the network restrictions and have full access to the network rather than limited. So he wants full access to everything. That means he can have access to everything on the network, not limited access.